man, I hope to accomplish the truth, brother.
Mm.
And not just for myself, but for the future generations that
Right.
come after us. I felt like for so long, our ethnic group that we call Foundational Black Americans,
Mm.
somebody might call it ADOS, some people
Mm-hmm.
might call it Aboriginal. I don't really get
Mm-hmm.
caught up on the names. I use
Right.
Foundational Black American.
For sure.
But so many times it's almost been like our group has been a dirty word. This
Mm.
word that people refuse to say.
Mm.
This group that people refuse to acknowledge. We can acknowledge every other group. We can acknowledge everybody else. We were just having a conversation the other day about even the marketing in boxing. I'm a big
Mm.
boxing
Yeah.
fan as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you see a lot of brothers, they'll try to label them Puerto Rican or
Yeah.
they're such and such because they want to market to them, but nobody
Mm.
markets to the Black American.
Come
You
on.
see what I'm saying?
Good people, what's up? What's good, man? Blessed be host Caleb Smith. Today we got a very special guest in the building, man. He's doing big things, bro. Friend of the show. He's back. He's an author, man, creative. Man, he's gonna help you out with health as well, intellectual, and man, truly one of the greatest minds for our generation right now. And I firmly believe, bro, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, you'll be in the names of Dr. Kaba, so many other great lecturers. And I really believe that, bro. And man, you doing the work, the books, selling and pushing so much, bro, that you don't even have copies sometimes, bro.
Right.
That's a beautiful problem, man, to have, bro. But brother Chase, ladies and gentlemen, how you feeling today, bro?
Brother, I'm excellent. I'm honored to be back here again.
Yes, sir.
And I want to commend you on your work.
Thank you,
just
bro.
the level of consistency.
Appreciate that.
And I understand, as a man, that's very tough.
For sure.
Today's time, especially with all the distractions.
For sure.
I had to limit myself from the Instagram.
Nah, I feel you.
And stuff like that, because you
For
get
sure,
on there
for sure.
one thing and
Yeah.
you get what you on there for. So
That's right.
the fact that you here, dropping episodes, giving game every week, it's a
Thank
beautiful thing. So I thank you.
Hey, I received that, bro, man.
Absolutely.
500, not 100, but 500 amazing facts, bro, about the Negro, bro. J.A. Rogers, 1934, bro, 100 facts. But, bro, why 500? I love that.
It's about, it's about not just regurgitating the ancestors, but taking it to the next level.
Come on.
That's what we're doing. If we're looking at this thing as a relay, it's our job to take, our ancestors' baton and run the fastest race we can, continue with the race. I think oftentimes in today's time, especially with our generation, we kind of just regurgitate the ancestors. We kind of sit back.
That's good.
You see what I'm saying? We got to take it and take it to the next level. So J.A. Rogers in the 1950s gave us 100 facts. So I wanted to come and say, man, that book was terrific. That book was another book that helped shape me.
That's right.
And, take it to the next level, because I remember reading it like, man, there's so much more we can add to it. You got to understand, he was doing this in the time when there was no internet.
That's right.
You had to physically go places. He got a lot of that game from being a porter. On the train, just ear
listening.
Hustling,
Come on.
Getting that game, ear hustling, hearing about a book, going to find a book, going to read the book. So, with all the technology we have now, we can get all this information with a click of a button, just with Wi-Fi.
Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying? So I feel like it was my duty, it was my job to take it to the next level and give people that 500 amazing facts. And hopefully, hopefully this is not the end. Hopefully 100 years from now, somebody reads the 500 amazing facts, and we got a young king or queen who say, man, I can do 1,000.
Let's go. Yeah.
And that's where it just keeps building. I think that's what we got to get back to.
I love that, bro.
Absolutely.
In the book too, man, so often, right, our people, FBA especially, man, folks that's been here, bro, family from deep Mississippi, man, so deep Southern roots. You're already from here. I'm from Georgia, family from Georgia.
Right.
Man, so many times, we can have people that come in as immigrants, no disrespect, but say that we don't work as hard, or we don't do this, or we don't appreciate this. What do you hope to accomplish through this book by showing us what we've already done as a people?
Oh, man, I hope to accomplish the truth, brother. And not just for myself, but for the future generations that come after us. I felt like for so long, our ethnic group that we call Foundational Black Americans, somebody might call it ADOS, some people might call it Aboriginal. I don't really get caught up on the names. I use Foundational Black Americans.
For sure.
But so many times it's almost been like our group has been a dirty word. This word that people refuse to say. This group that people refuse to acknowledge. We can acknowledge every other group. We can acknowledge everybody else. We were just having a conversation the other day about even the marketing in boxing. I'm a big boxing fan as well. But you see a lot of brothers, they'll try to label them Puerto Rican or they're such and such because they want to market to them, but nobody markets to the Black American.
Come on.
You see what I'm saying? So it's important that we acknowledge this history, that we acknowledge this ethnic group and the unique lineage that we come from. That's very important. We're not just brothers and sisters who got off slave ships.
Yeah.
Many of us were already here. We also have lineage that did get off slave ships. We also have a unique lineage from travelers and explorers who were coming from all over. We have the bloodline of the Moors. We have the bloodline of the Aboriginal people. We have bloodlines from brothers and sisters who were mathematicians and scientists in West Africa who came over here during our Ma'afa.
Yes, sir.
So that's very important to understand, and we're a very unique people. So, it's my hope that by speaking this truth, by acknowledging this lineage, it'll help to set us all free and, give us some of that knowledge itself that we seek.
Come on, bro.
Absolutely.
In the book too, man, talking about Mexico, I find it so interesting because like we always mention Underground Railroad, likes of Harriet Tubman, and I'm going up North Star, but we was going south too.
Oh my goodness.
Please expound, because I think that's something that's so overlooked.
Absolutely. Well, brother, when we talk about the United States, when we talk about our ancestors reaching their freedom, oftentimes we think of the United States as it is today with 50 states.
Yeah.
But we got to remember in the 1850s, the early 1800s, 1700s, the West was a foreign country. What we call it now California and all that, that's a different country. That's Spanish rule.
Wow.
We're going through French territory. We're going through X, Y, and Z. So anywhere was freedom. If you go too far to the west, that's freedom. If you go down south, that's freedom. So a lot of our brothers and sisters, especially in the Georgia, South Carolina, South, they ran south down to Florida because they knew Florida was controlled by the Seminoles, which is a Spanish corruption of the word Cimarron that simply means runaways.
Yeah.
So the whole state of Florida was being controlled by Black people. John Horse and those brothers and sisters who actually won their freedom, which was one of the first times in history, in the United States history, that Black people, enslaved people, went to war with the United States and actually won.
Yes, sir.
So we just did, shout out to Big Bro, shout out to Tariq Nasheed. We just did the American Maroon film that documents that, and I would suggest everybody go get that video, get the opportunity.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not, we understand in our era, not really a reading generation. A lot of our people like videos and film. 3 hours worth of, just straight game from the master teachers. I was honored to join that, and participate in that film. But, running south, also running west, places like Ohio. Ohio was known, the Black people, the Foundational Black Americans in Ohio were known for resistance. They were known to fight back. You had something called the Men of the Order of Oppression. Okay, and these brothers were operating guerrilla warfare in order to get brothers to the north into Canada, in order to give them a safe space once they ran away. One of the popular groups or families that comes out of there is Lucy and I forgot his name, Lucy Thornton, but the Thornton family. The Thornton family is a family that was a runaway family from Kentucky. They were enslaved. They got to Ohio. They were arrested in Ohio. Not Ohio, but Michigan.
Wow.
And the Foundational Black Americans, they actually broke them out of jail.
Wow.
Broke them out of jail, beat up the police guards,
wow.
and sent them up north to Canada. Once they got to Canada, that kind of changed Canada's laws up there. So they said, okay, you know what? We're not going to have enslavement up here anymore. And we're not going to send anybody back to the United States who's going to be enslaved. Wow. They later on went, the Thornton family later on went to start one of the first cab companies in Toronto, Canada. Yeah. So their first cab company comes from Foundational Black Americans who escaped enslavement and were secured their freedom by other FBAs who were, resisting. So that's one of the many stories, people making it out west.
Yeah, I love that, man. American Maroon. That was going to be my next question anyway. So, bro, it's flowing perfectly, right? John Horse, man, that's again somebody that's hardly mentioned. In school, maybe hear that name like one time, if any, right? Who was John Horse and why is he so significant for our people?
Oh man, John Horse was one of the leaders of the Seminoles. It was said that his mother, he had a Native American mother or
Mm.
the Mongoloid. I try to stay away from the word Native American because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times our people get a certain image
That's right.
of what the Native American is.
That's
But he
right.
had a parent who was
Mm.
of the Mongoloid
Mm-hmm.
persuasion,
Yeah.
and he had a black parent.
Wow.
But he was one of the leaders of the Black Seminoles.
Mm.
Helped to lead the Seminoles to freedom. Win their freedom in Florida.
Mm.
Great fighter, great
Wow.
leader.
Yeah.
Later on, led the Seminoles out to Oklahoma,
Mm.
where they were actually out there fighting some of the, again, Mongoloid natives who were trying to
Wow.
enslave them, the Creeks, things of that nature.
Wow.
So he would end up leading them to Mexico.
Mm.
They're known as the Muskogos, I believe it's called,
Mm-hmm.
in Mexico. And he actually worked out a deal with the Mexican government to defend the Mexican border.
Wow.
So this is John Horse. John Horse was a bad brother,
Mm-hmm.
a great fighter, a great leader,
Mm-hmm.
and should be known by many more of our people.
Yes, sir. John Horse, right? You talk about
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma. We got Trail of Tears as well, where you had the Cherokee,
Right.
quote unquote, who go to Oklahoma. But then
Right.
years later, you start getting Black Wall Street. I think that people don't just try to like connect those dots. So where
Absolutely.
are people indigenous and then
Mhm.
moving to Oklahoma during those times?
Absolutely. Oklahoma, at one point in time, you had more blacks owning land in Oklahoma than any other state.
Mm.
And a big part of that was because it was considered Indian territory,
Right,
and
right.
a lot of our people had indigenous heritage.
Mhm.
I actually have a part of my family that we're trying to reconnect with now,
Wow.
who's from Mississippi, who was Choctaw.
Mm.
So half of my family stayed in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
That's the more direct lineage that I
Right.
know. That's my family. That's my mother. That's my father.
Yeah.
But especially on my father's side, they're from Starkville. The other side of his family went to Oklahoma to live on the reservations.
Ain't that something, bro? It's
That's
crazy.
something.
Yeah, yeah.
That's something. So out of that lineage came people like my great ancestor Cool Papa Bell, who was a Negro League Hall of Famer, is in the
Wow.
MLB Hall of Fame now.
Wow.
He comes from that lineage, that Choctaw side, X, Y, and Z. That's the side we call King Hall. That was their leader. So it's always this unique experience when we talk about going out to Oklahoma, because we were involved in all of the 5 so-called civilized tribes.
Right, right.
So, we were out there, and a lot of those people, because they had that warrior spirit, they went out there, built Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. But also in Oklahoma, you had several Black Wall Streets. You had Boley, Oklahoma, which gives us the first bank.
Wow.
Boley, the Bank of Boley. This is the first nationally recognized black bank.
Wow.
Out there in Boley, Oklahoma. You have Langston, which was another popular town in Oklahoma, all black town. I believe out of there we get Langston College, which is still a HBCU
Yes,
to
sir.
this day.
Yeah.
So, you had black people doing, miraculous things all over. Whenever they leave us, and that's always been their big thing, if they just leave us alone, they know something's going to get popping out there.
That's right.
If you just leave them alone, let them do their thing. So, we saw that all over in Oklahoma, and a lot of that was that maroon energy. And I always tell people, even on the days of Black Wall Street, there's a reason why they had to go to the skies to stop and to bomb Black Wall Street, because they were losing that guerrilla warfare battle.
And they had guns.
Absolutely.
Yes,
they
sir.
had guns, and brothers were fighting to the death out there. There are several reports, and you can read, and I document this in my book as well, of white people coming in that Greenwood district and getting, just getting run out of there. You see what I'm saying? So it was at that point they had to go to the skies, and that's important to remember.
Yeah.
So all of this is very important history. Very important history.
Yes, sir. Going to the skies, right? People think 9/11 was the first air raid attack on American soil, but rather it was Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We have things like the move that happened in Philadelphia.
Yes, indeed.
Why do white people often in the social structure itself always have to go to those extents of just trying to stop us?
Man, that's a loaded question. One is jealousy and fear. There's a great book called The Iceman Inheritance by Michael Bradley, and our great ancestor Dr. John Henry Clark wrote the excerpts. I have to go back, and I believe he wrote the intro to the newest edition.
Wow.
But he talks about the sun people and the ice people. And you know, when he talks about the ice people, this is what we call white people or the Eurasian nowadays. He talks about a man who came up in a condition in the ice. A condition, he developed a condition where he had to steal, he had to kill,
That's right.
because nothing grew in the ice. Food wasn't plentiful. Plants weren't plentiful. The sun, they were at war with nature, at war with the sun.
Right.
And they developed a mentality that whatever somebody get, I gotta have a piece of that. I gotta take that. So this was always in their spirit. This is always in their heart.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like that old saying we say in the black community: you could take somebody out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of them.
Come on.
You know, so you could take white people. White people could be in the nicest area. You know, white people can have 99.9% of all the resources in the world, but they're gonna fight you for that 1%.
Still not enough.
That's that hood mentality that's in them. That's that ice mentality that's in them. They know what it's like to be without that resource. So even when you have a Black Wall Street, and they can have all the other Wall Streets around them, they still got to have your little piece too. You know, so they will go to incredible extents, even to bomb you, to erase the memory completely in order to, you know, fulfill that Iceman need, you know. And on the other hand, we're the sun people. We're the people who, even after you bomb us, we still forgive. I just saw Emmett Till's cousin.
That's gonna be my next question. Hey, keep flowing, bro.
Come on,
we
man.
was just talking about that, Chase, before you walked in.
That's that sun people mentality.
Keep
man.
going. Yeah.
That's that sun people mentality. You know, I believe it was his cousin or distant cousin or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. I kind of shut the article.
I know. I was that way too.
I already know where this is going.
Yeah.
And Carolyn Bryant, the woman who lied on our brother Emmett Till,
Yes,
which
sir.
is, you know, that's deep into my heart because my parents are from Greenwood, Mississippi. So Money, Mississippi is like 10 minutes away.
My goodness.
Wow. You know, it's like 10 minutes away. So Carolyn Bryant, who lied on Emmett Till, got on the stand and lied and ended up leading to that our young brother's murder. She recently passed, allegedly. And the cousin of Emmett Till came out and was talking about forgiveness and did a whole Facebook post, I think it was, or something like that. But that's that sun people's mentality. No matter what you do to us, we're always forgiving. We always let go. If we have one bottle of water, we're going to share that one bottle of water with whoever. You know, if we have any grain of food, we're going to be open to it. And unfortunately, and many times, that's been our downfall. That's been our downfall. So, you know, it's unfortunate, but, you know, it is what it is.
For sure, bro. Carol Bryant, dead. How do you feel about our people, right? Again, some people of being in these rich environments have an abundance, right? Do you think that we need to somewhat develop a sense of a warrior spirit more and not always being so forgiving? Because seeing her pass and Emmett's family wasn't the only ones talking about praying for her and somewhat feeling a sense of, oh man, she's dead. Yeah, it was wrong, but she's dead. How can we stop caring and be like our enemies sometimes of, yo, if you even cross me once, it's a wrap for you.
Right. We have to have love for self. I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. We have to have so much love for ourselves that we refuse to be treated like that again. We have to say, you know, no more at the end of the day. A big thing we have to do is start knowing thy enemy like we know thyself.
Come on.
We don't talk about knowing thy enemy. I study just as much history of the white man as I do our history because history always repeats itself. I got to know how he acts. I got to know how he moves. I got to know when he's positioned himself in a certain position to get ownership. Okay, what is the end goal of this? I got to know why Bill Gates is buying all this land. He ain't buying all this land just for fun.
That's right.
These are power moves at the end of the day. I got to know how this works. You see what I'm saying? So we have to start studying the white man's history.
Yes, sir.
And like I said, that book, The Iceman Inheritance, is a great starter point because he ain't too far removed from the ice when we're talking about our people.
That's right.
You know, we are people who, there is no birth date for the original black man. But we know a birth date of the white man. And it ain't that long ago. We talking about 6,000 to 7,000 years ago.
It's a blink of an eye, bro.
Right. We got pyramids older than that.
That's right.
So that should let you know he and she are not a new or a old ancient people. You know, so they're very new people and we have to study these people. So I think that's very important to understand. Know thy enemy like you know thyself.
That's heavy, bro. There's so many articles and studies about 2053 white people might be extinct or America, it'll be this brown country. Do you think that that's building a sense of tapping back into that Iceman mentality for them right now?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Francis Chris Wilson breaks down in the ISIS papers the fear of genetic survival. You know, that a lot of people, even going back to Tulsa, Oklahoma, that whole thing started because allegedly a black man touched a white woman in an elevator.
Yes.
That's some of that that mindset, that genetic annihilation mindset, because they understand that the black man in the black woman can eliminate the white race without firing a bullet.
Wow.
That's the power we have. We can, a simple act of procreation can eliminate them.
Yeah.
And wipe them off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
This is why, like I say, they're always constantly figuring out ways to sabotage us, to annihilate us, and different things of that nature. So 2053 is very scary for them. But what they're trying to do now is, I believe, they're trying to impregnate the mind. They're trying to have black people who are walking around in blackface, but white-minded. They're trying to live vicariously through us.
Wow.
And through other groups. Even we were talking about this the other day. If you look at the people who come across the border from Mexico, most of them identify as white. You have a lot of Asians who identify as white.
Yes.
You see a lot of Asian-white relationships. You see what I'm saying? They're making sure that, okay, let's plant this seed, this white seed, into other people, even if we can't do it physically, because they understand they have a recessive trait. So that recessive trait is always going to, unless they mate with another recessive, another white person, it's always going to produce a other. And with their eyes is undesirable. You see what I'm saying? So they're trying to impregnate the mind. So you see a lot of, we call honorary white people popping up with that same mentality. You get a lot of anti-black hate in the Asian community. You get a lot of anti-black hate in the Latino community. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
In the East Indian community. There is no place you can go around the world in any other country that the black people are not at the bottom. They have a racial caste system everywhere. You go over to India, Asia, places like that, they have brothers like the Dravidians. They call them the untouchables.
Wow. Yeah.
They don't even want to see them. You got black folks living in damn near on reservations over there, the Jawa, the Andaman Islanders, people like that. You go to these Latin American countries, a lot of people don't know Mexico just started acknowledging black people or black lineage in 2015.
Wow.
2015, that's when they finally allowed it to be checked on the census. They had like it didn't even exist.
Wow.
So, this anti-black hatred is in every country.
Yeah.
And that's that impregnation of the white man's ideology into them. So that's the new form. That's where we're going to see it go, because they understand that they can't win a war with the sun. You see what I'm saying? They can't win a war with nature. So that's the new step.
Oh, my goodness, bro. Hey,
Absolutely.
That's heavy, man. Last week or this week, I think, Don Lemon, he was fired. Tucker Carlson fired, right? Don Lemon, man, just especially overall is right. He's on camera. I saw clips about him telling black men pull up their pants and all this other stuff from 10 plus years ago. And it's like, dang, brother, so you did all of that. And we talking about 10 years later. I don't care how much money you were getting paid from that. You get thrown away.
Right.
You got in one argument with some white women talking about when their prom is. And
absolutely.
Y'all should go vote, talking down to black people. But now you're on the outside looking in. Do you think that black people are finally waking up and not tuning into traditional news and traditional media anymore?
Oh,
How do you feel about it?
Absolutely. I think a lot of our people, they say we're in the age of information.
Right.
So a lot of our people are looking to brothers like yourself, looking to brothers like myself, the elders, and they're going direct to the source. They tried the CNN route, the MSNBC route, and they're seeing it for what it is. It's an arm of white supremacy. We have passive aggressive white supremacy, and you got unapologetic white supremacy. I always say Fox News is the unapologetic white supremacy. They don't try to hide it, which I actually respect more. Because it takes the first rule of war. Sun Tzu talks about that in the Art of War. Is deception.
Yep.
It's deception. So I actually prefer the Fox News. I actually prefer the Tucker Carlsons, where I know he's a racist.
He's going to be honest.
And he's going to be honest about it. He's going to be honest about what he think about the black community. That takes deception out of it.
That's right.
So now we can deal for what it is. The CNNs, the MSNBC, they'll do the passive aggressive. And we see this all throughout life, even with the Democrats and the Republicans. You see a lot of our people now still, on the Democratic train, on the Joe Biden train.
Yes,
when
sir.
Joe Biden's just as racist as Donald Trump. I actually prefer the Donald Trump. Not that I'm a fan of Donald Trump, but I actually prefer the unapologetic racism.
You know what you're getting into.
Give it to me straight.
Yes, sir.
Because we're going to get it anyway. You know what I'm saying? We out here choosing between death by electric chair, death by lethal injection.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Either way, you're dying. So let's just go ahead and get the unapologetic form so I know what it is. A lot of our people are seeing it for what it is. Like I say, so much information out here. The technology has changed a lot of stuff. That's why a lot of white folks are getting nervous about the AI and different things of that nature. Because there's so much information that they can't control. So yeah, man. So a lot of our people are, like I say, getting off traditional routes and they're going to what they call the new black media.
Yeah.
And that's very important, and that's a very key to our revolution. Dr. Claude Anderson talks about that in his book Powernomics. One of the steps is media.
Yes, sir.
So that's very important.
Yeah, for sure. AI, artificial intelligence, right? We got robo-dogs being made too. So free information, but then at the same time, white supremacy is trying to use this thing as a tool, right? I've seen clips, Tariq, he posted this of a white dude with a face and he got a robo body, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, bro. It's crazy. So do you think that the police department or the FBI, CIA, that they'll probably start trying to use AI, whether it's robo dogs, robots, just to try to kill people, and then they can say, yo, technically, I didn't do it. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Listen, this is a man with no morals, no principles. You see what I'm saying? And I knew that when a lot of people forget our brother Micah Johnson.
Yeah, that's true.
Out there in Dallas.
That's an excellent point.
What was that, 2016?
Yeah.
20, something like that. Our brother out there, said the price of freedom is death. He was tired of seeing that our brothers and sisters were being murdered.
Right.
And he took justice into his own hands. And he did it by any means necessary. They blew him up with a robot.
Yeah.
They didn't go in there and take him down man to man. They blew him up with a robot. I think they blew up the whole floor. I believe that was one of the first instances in history where they had killed somebody with I think it was like a robo dog or something like that.
On us.
Wow. Of course, on us. So, you have all these race soldiers running around here. You have these white supremacists who go shoot up grocery stores like in Buffalo.
Yep.
They never take them down. They never even kill them.
That's true.
They take them to Burger King, the Dylan Roofs of the world. But when it comes to us, I think within 10, 20 minutes now, all of a sudden, it's no coming back. They have to blow this brother up. So, of course, they're going to try to use the AI technology, the robo-dogs, the robo-humans. I gotta actually check that out as well. But I know they've been big on transhumanism
for sure.
lately as well. And even the Elon Musks of the world trying to go into that. So they're definitely going to try to use it as an act of warfare, especially going back to what you say, to 2053.
Yeah.
Being that their numbers are dwindling. If you don't have the same military force, you see what I'm saying? You have to implement robots who are on your program, who you can program your mindset into. So, yeah, man, it's a thing that we're going to have to be very aware of.
For sure, bro. AI, again, man, on your book cover, I was so impressed. I loved it. When you posted option 1 or 2, I love both options. How does that help young Black authors right now as well?
The AI, man. AI is, I like to say, it's an assistant. It's a great assistant. Yeah. Imagine if you had the greatest worker in the world who working for free.
Wow.
And I'm specifically talking about with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you can really get a lot of ideas out. You can really, even with the Mid Journey.
Yeah.
You talking about the cover art. That was an idea. That's an idea. A cover usually takes me in the past with Voice of the Ancestors 1 through 3. A cover usually probably takes me 2 to 3 weeks.
Wow.
I did that cover in about 30 minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's crazy when you think about it, because, and even then when I'm doing the old covers, you got to send it to somebody. You got to adjust something. You got to do this, X, Y, and Z. You got to find somebody, you know what I'm saying, who's going to be able to display your vision.
Yeah.
So with AI, it's literally like all you have to do is just know how to say it. Put those ideas on paper, and it's phenomenal. So it's going to be a major help. I think still the oldest thing, the thing that's going to hurt people, our people, is that P word, that procrastination.
Come on.
So a lot of people are like, oh, this is going to put people out of work, X, Y, Z, and it is going to put some people out of work. But I think at the end of the day, if you're a procrastinator, which most of our people are, most of our people, even myself, on certain things, I procrastinate. I procrastinate going to the gym. Give me 30 more minutes. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go to the gym. I ain't going to sit here and say like, oh, I'm perfect with everything.
Yeah.
But procrastination, with all this access to this powerful technology, what are you going to do with it?
That's right.
And what you do with it it's only going to be based off what you already have in here. You see what I'm saying? If I didn't have the knowledge of a Lewis Latimer, I can't put Lewis Latimer into Midjourney.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why knowledge itself is so important. That's why history is so important. If all of our babies, all they have is knowledge of LeBron, and shout out to LeBron, no disrespect to LeBron, but basketball, football players, entertainers, that's all they going to ever put out.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? That's all AI going to ever give you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, but if you have that knowledge of history and you understand that we're pyramid builders, mound builders, temple builders, you know, we mastered mathematics and science. Then now you can go into it and really use AI for a greater good, the greater good of our people. So that's important.
Knowledge of self, bro. I feel you, man. Voice of the ancestors. Every single day, I can always find something, bro. Right on time. CRT, that's a major thing going on right now. You know, state of Florida, Ron DeSantis, they're not playing about that.
Right.
How do we try to combat, right, CRT and teaching our children knowledge of self still at a young age?
I think the biggest thing myself growing up is my education didn't just stop at school. So my parents would educate me as well.
Right.
My parents, I remember I was probably the only kid in my neighborhood who I had a limit on the game. My mom and my father would only let me play the video game on the weekends, and it was only 2 hours a day.
Wow.
So while other kids were out, you know, playing 2K all day, X, Y, Z, I had a limit on it. And I didn't understand it because I'm like, hey, I'm the only friend. I'm the only kid out here with a limit. I can't play it through the weekdays. And I only had it 2 hours on the weekend.
Wow.
So I think that's important to have good parents and the education that stop at home. So when I wasn't on the game, I had to write book reports. I had to read books. I had to go outside and just play.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Exercise your body, go outside. And I actually enjoyed doing that. You see what I'm saying? I got so used to it. And I felt like growing up, especially in college, I saw so many people in college who were addicted to video games.
Yeah, man. They're not
like
studying.
they skipping class.
Yeah.
Yeah, they skipping class for that 2K tournament. That's all they knew how to do. And I was like, wow, I was so disciplined growing up.
That's right.
You know, that I never got on that. You know, also during that time when I wasn't on the video game, my father was talking to me about history. He was talking to me about Greenwood, Mississippi, and the civil rights icon. He was talking about how he seen Dr. King march down the street. He touched his hand.
Wow.
You know, when he was marching in Greenwood. He was talking about Stokely Carmichael, who did the first ever Black Power speech in Greenwood, Mississippi, right after he was released from jail. And that, you know, as a kid, that take your mind off. Your mind start exploring. You start visualizing yourself being there.
Yes, sir.
So I think the education can't stop with the school. It gotta go at the house as well. You have to educate at the house. You have to give your children books.
That's right.
You have to make them read. You know, reading is a form of not just learning, but a form of mental exercise. Your brain is a muscle.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just like any muscle, if you don't work out or you don't ever work out, you're gonna get big. You're gonna get out of shape.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to read. Reading is exercise for your mind. So a lot of our people run into a lot of depression, things of that nature. They get consumed by our history, by our traumas, because they don't know anything else. Their mind is out of shape.
Yeah.
Their mind doesn't have the tools to fight back. You have to give your babies the tools. You have to give them the books. You have to give them the documentaries. You have to show them the videos. You know, and this is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week thing. So I think that's very important. That's how we fight back against the critical race theory. And then, of course, on the economic side, we have to build our own schools.
That's it. Yes.
I mean,
yeah,
plain and simple, we have to build our own schools. That's something I'm working on now. And when we talk about schools as well, not just physical buildings, but curriculum. Because a lot of our people, some of our people have schools and they have buildings, but it's still the same white curriculum in it. They go in there, they still got the McGraw-Hill textbook. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And that kind of, it defeats the point. Now you're just getting white supremacy from a black face, which can be even more harmful. Because now there's a connection to it. Now you trust Miss Lieberbaum. You know what I'm saying?
Put that guard down.
Right. Put that guard down. I had a black teacher and she might have been doing it out of innocence. You see what I'm saying? Much like most people are. You know, a lot of people are not purposely miseducating the kids. Black teachers and things of that nature who do a tremendous job. They work with what they can. But they're teaching out of the textbooks. So it's important that people like myself, I feel like I have a duty
Yes, sir.
being that I'm a book writer,
Mm.
to try to implement curriculums. And that's what we're trying to do now, turn the Voice of the Ancestors series, turn my book series into curriculum.
That's beautiful.
Trying to put it into the school systems.
Yeah.
So it's a constant battle. It's a constant war. But we're going to win at the end of the day.
Nah, for sure.
We're going to stay consistent. We're going to win.
Hey, it's going to happen, bro.
Absolutely.
Again, Mississippi roots, right? I thought about, man, somebody else. Medgar Evers. That's another person, man. Who was he? Mississippi as well.
Man, Medgar Evers was a powerful brother as well. Part of the civil rights movement. Was big on calling out injustices in our community.
Yeah.
And so much so that he was actually assassinated in his driveway.
Yeah.
The guy who assassinated him was from Greenwood.
Oh, are you serious?
So Greenwood got a lot
I didn't
of
know
history.
that. Wow.
Yeah, the white dude who assassinated him was from Greenwood.
Wow.
I forgot his name. Oh man, I wish I could call out the white supremacist name, because that's another important thing. You know, we got to start putting names on these folks.
Excellent point. Yes.
You know, and really calling them out. That's why Carolyn Bryant, we got to keep circulating her name.
That's right.
Because they hid that woman for 50, 60 years.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? But the dude who actually killed Medgar Evers in his driveway was from Greenwood. And I believe living in Greenwood for the longest time, up until I believe Medgar Evers' wife took him to court and finally got him arrested. I think so. I think he died in prison. He only spent like 5 years, 6 years in prison. You know, before he died.
Yeah.
But that was another powerful brother in the civil rights movement. So, you know, salute to the great ancestor Medgar Evers.
Yes, sir. $5 Indians, bro. You know, growing up, we always think that it's this red man. It was one dude in particular. He was in Hollywood. Might have been Iron Cody, something like that, but found out that he was Italian the whole time, and they had him playing as a Native American.
Absolutely.
Craziness. So then that poses that question, right? If I see the Washington Redskins logo growing up,
right,
that's a black man, bro.
Right.
Chicago Blackhawks hockey team, that's a black man, bro. They put brown
thought about
skin,
that. Right.
And it's right in front of us.
Right.
Atlanta Braves, back in, I think, when they were maybe the Boston Braves, it was a black man.
Oh, wow.
On the face,
so
bro.
You educate
bro,
me
it's
on
crazy.
Stuff. Yeah,
it's crazy, bro. I think the Braves had like a young black kid as like one of the mascots. Like you can find these pictures on Google. And then one other team, Cleveland Indians.
Right.
So how is it that white people somewhat know that these were probably black people and were black people?
Right.
But then for us growing up, we're always seeing this red man with long hair. So what did Christopher Columbus see when he came over here?
Well, Christopher Columbus talked about in his journals by George Washington Irving, who documents this. He talks about the Native Americans were telling him that black-skinned people came trading in gold-tipped spears.
Wow.
Columbus actually took some of these spears back and had them microscopically tested, scientifically tested. And they actually matched the spears that were being forged in West Africa.
Wow.
So that was additional. That was kind of some of the first evidence. And we got to remember, Christopher Columbus also had black translators. Okay, so that was another thing.
Yeah.
He also had black translators. And I always tell people, just using logic, the same year Christopher Columbus discovers America is the same year the Moors fall in Europe. The exact, I mean, literally months later.
1492.
Yeah, 1492. So the same year they fall in Grenada,
Mm.
all of a sudden Christopher Columbus just gets this genius idea.
Yes, sir.
That it must be land to the west. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and he actually takes part of the Nino brothers. The Nino brothers actually own one of the ships. I believe it was the Nina.
Mm.
They actually owned the ships. One of his chief navigators was Pedro Alonso Nino, who was a black man as well, who was also taken back to Europe in shackles and chains and arrested because he was doing his own deals on the side.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, Pedro Alonso Nino was doing his own deals on the side. He was trading in pearls, X, Y, and Z. That's hints of him speaking the language. So he kind of like, get out the white man. Let me go over here and do my own little deals and stuff like that. Columbus was taken back in chains because all of them, they say all of them were stealing. You know, because they were supposed to be giving that money to the crown.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be going over there for the crown.
Wow.
So a lot of brothers were over here doing a lot of translations. And even when you look out in history, what Europeans always knew is to bring black folks with them. You know, you had Estevanico the Moor.
Yeah.
You had a brother by the name of Matthew da Costa. Matthew da Costa is responsible for opening up the Canadian border and stuff like that against the Algonquins. He was a multilingualist. So he would speak the native, the Mi'kmaq language, different languages that the natives spoke. And he kind of forged that bond between the French and the Algonquin-speaking Native Americans.
Jeez.
Because he was that liaison between them.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in Canadian museums to this day for that. Matthew DaCosta. You had a brother named York. Enslaved foundational Black American from Kentucky. He went with Lewis and Clark out west because remember, at a certain point in time, out west is foreign territory. It's a new country.
Yeah.
So you have people all the way over. You have Juan Garrado. Juan Garrado is responsible for planting the first wheat plants.
Wow.
In the Americas, down in Mexico.
That's crazy.
He was a traveler and explorer.
Yeah.
He was with, I can't remember exactly the name. I want to say he was with Balboa. Don't quote me on that exactly, but he was with some white explorers, European explorers, but he wound up settling in Mexico and planting the first wheat plants. So we're synonymous with white explorers coming over here. And when they came over here, you have a lot of them. Whether it was Giovanni Verasino, who was an Italian explorer who in 1524 wrote to King Francis about the black folks he saw over here, and wrote about several black tribes he saw over here. You have people like Theodore Johnson, who was from the Northeast. I believe he was from New Jersey. When he went out to California, after California became part of the United States, he talked about all the black Native Americans that he saw, called them little tribes of Africans. You know, all over. They were historically described as the Digger Indians.
Wow.
Because they would dig holes in the ground, live them jet black people, and they still have photos of these people. So, I mean, the evidence is all over from the white explorers. This is why I wrote the book, 19 White Men Who Admitted There Were Indigenous Black People in the Americas, because oftentimes with our people, you have to put medicine in the candy.
Come on.
You have to put medicine in the candy. I understand when people hear me, they're going to say, oh, he's making up stuff. That's not true. So I just like to present the white folks, you know, because I know deep down psychologically, that's what our people want. When some of our people ask for sources, that's what they want.
Yeah.
They want the white man.
That's deep when they ask for sources.
I have no problem with that. I put the medicine in the candy and I let them speak for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So that's a terrific book to get if you ever get a chance.
Yes,
Great
sir.
forceful book.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, a lot of the explorers, going back to what you say, Columbus and others, Giovanni Verasino, you had another explorer, Antonio Piffetti, who was very powerful. He went down to Brazil. He was traveling around the world with Magellan. And he went down to Brazil and said that there were people down there making canoes out of whole tree trunks, brother.
Wow.
And that these people who were making canoes were jet black people. Okay, he said they looked like they came out the infernos of hell. That's how black they were. Yeah, he was unapologetic about it. Unapologetic about it.
Very detailed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's important. I always bring up him because oftentimes, and you're going to have some people who listen to this interview, they're going to say, well, white people called everybody black. That's their popular comeback to that. They didn't know what a black person was. Now, these are white folks who just been dealing with the Moors. They dealing with everybody. Right. But Antonio Piffetti, like I said, he traveled around the world with Magellan. Magellan is given credit for the first European to travel around the world.
Right, right.
So he stopped at every country he could, every continent he could. You see what I'm saying? He'd seen all different walks of life to people. When he got to Brazil, Antonio Piffetti said these men were black men. He was unapologetic about that. Looked like they came out the infernos of hell. And one of the interesting things about Brazil is a similar country like the United States.
Yes. In
the sense of you have allegedly, I want to say 5 to 10 million. I don't even think it's that big, but 5 million, they say, Africans who came to Brazil. But now Brazil has a population of 50 million Africans.
That's crazy.
50 million.
Yes.
50 million people identify as African people in Brazil. Where did all these people come from? Similar to the United States, where they're telling us 300 to 400,000 Africans came over here. Now we got a population of 34 million. And we know roughly 5 million identify as immigrants. They're black immigrants. So where these other 30 million black folks come from? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's one of those populations where we see just black people swell up overnight. A lot of reclassification.
Yes, sir.
A lot of reclassification.
Yeah.
So, let people do their own research on
For
that.
sure. Face, bro, you bodied this conversation, man.
Oh, no, man. I'm just doing my part, man.
Killing it, bro.
Student of the game.
Yes, sir. For sure, bro. One of my last few questions, man. Snowfall is one of my favorite shows, man. Watched it. Chopping it up with friends and family. Me and Aaron, we was just talking about it, too.
Right.
last episode, Franklin Saint, man, a kid that's worth almost $1 billion in the mid '80s, working with the CIA. They basically fund him with all the dope.
Right.
He feeds it to the streets. He's the plug, right?
Right.
The CIA steals his money, goes into his bank account, cleans him out, right? And Franklin ends up just like his father, who was a former Black Panther. And Franklin ends up just like his pops, homeless, drugged out, doped out. He's a drunk. And I thought about something, right? We got so many young kids, whether it was in the 80s, the 90s, early 2000s, even currently, who end up in the dope game off of a lack of resources. Or Franklin, he was in college. His mom, she couldn't afford it no more.
Right.
Single mom. So he had to turn to the streets. How do we turn these young Black geniuses away from that, who used to be dope boys, into whether it's writing books, being intellectuals, businessmen? How do we create that shift so now we don't have our streets flooded with dope fiends? We got dope boys that's 14, 15, 20s, 30s facing 60 plus years. So how do we try to change that paradigm?
That's a powerful question. The obvious response would be just to show them another way. But what I like to do as well is we can show them the finer things. I think consciousness has been associated with brokenness in our community a lot.
For sure, for sure.
And that's why I love seeing brothers like Sonetta, who got a Mercedes Benz. That's powerful.
Yeah.
A lot of our people hate on that. Oh, man, he ain't supposed to be having no Mercedes. No. Let him have that. Because that's going to make the dope boy see, man, this brother's out here doing conscious things. He's giving conscious information. He ain't robbing nobody. He ain't selling drugs to the community. And he still got a nice car. Still got a beautiful wife. You see what I'm saying? Still got a beautiful children, beautiful family. You see what I'm saying? Brothers like Tariq, who got Bentley.
Yeah, you see him in the Bentley.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes,
that's
sir.
Refreshing.
Yeah,
because we've been told that you can't do that Black stuff and get money. You got to fit in, even on the business level. Man, you got to have some crossover. I had family members tell me, man, you're going a little bit too hard now. You want white folks to...
You got to be safe.
Now that's going to cross over. That's how you get into the school. Nah, we can do it our way too.
That's right.
We've always been the economic base of a lot of these other groups, Hollywood, different things of that nature. So I think showing them financially that they can make it, they can live a great life. You can travel the world on consciousness, on educating your people. That's very important, you know. So showing them that other way. Also, like I say, educating them on the history. A lot of our babies, unfortunately, all they know is the LeBrons. All they know is the Pablo Escobar, the people who selling dope, X, Y, and Z. That's the majorities of our films and movies being pushed in our community, like Snowfall. And Snowfall is a terrific show.
Yeah.
I actually watched Snowfall as well. Finished Snowfall as well. And it's important to remember, Snowfall is pretty much based off Freeway Rick.
Come on.
So, you know, we got to also give them that real history, who was moving drugs for the CIA unknowingly to fund their war in Nicaragua. So that's also important to understand that this ain't, a lot of this ain't fiction. You know, they might have put some stories in there here and there, but that's based off a real story.
That's right.
And, you know, I think it was important to see how the game ended for Franklin.
Yes, sir.
You know, because unfortunately, that's how it does end for many of our brothers and sisters. So going back to your question, again, showing them another way, showing them they can live a finer lifestyle, doing it the right and righteous way, implementing knowledge of self so their mind can see other avenues. You know, even if I was down to my last dollar, I wouldn't hit the streets because I know so many other different avenues and ways to do things legitimately, not scamming nobody, X, Y, and Z, because I've implemented those tools in my brain from reading the Rich Dad Poor Dad, from reading the Robert G. Allen's Multiple Streams of Income, from reading X, Y, and Z. So I feel like I have more tools at my disposal.
Yes, sir.
A lot of times we just give our babies one tool. Go out, get an education, go to school, get a job. So if they drop out of school, damn, I guess I hit the streets now. I guess that's the next step.
Man.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So we got to, you know, definitely educate the babies and show them, which is important. Show them another way. Show them the lifestyle that you live in. You see what I'm saying? Show them how happy you are, X, Y, and Z. So that's important.
Chase, bro. I appreciate you, man, greatly. Changing the game, doing phenomenal things, bro. On the way out, where can they purchase the books?
Absolutely.
Tap in. The merch, too, bro. The hats are hard.
Absolutely.
Body of Gold. Bro, got to, man. Got
Appreciate
to.
You.
Body of Gold.
Body of
Stay in
God.
health, body of God, excuse me.
Absolutely. No,
Body
you
of
good.
God health. All of
Mm-hmm.
those things.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, how can we all tap in?
Oh man, you could tap in. First of all, you can follow me on Instagram. You know, this is 24-hour, 7 day a week type thing that
For
we
sure.
we try to give education to people. So you can follow my book page, which is Voice of the Ancestors. I actually have several pages now.
Yes, sir.
If I can remember them all, Body of God Health
Mm-hmm.
is our new health and wellness company. I got to bring my brother Pat up here
Yeah,
next
for
time
sure. For
with
sure,
me.
bro.
You know, that's
Yeah.
my partner in
Yeah.
crime, genius when it comes to the nutrition game,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, just being former players ourselves. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times we realized what we were putting in our body wasn't the best.
That's right.
Even when we were playing
All that
football.
sugar and stuff like
Oh my
that.
God.
Yeah.
And even, you know, besides the sugar, creatine, they had us on
Mm-hmm.
creatine, was sucking
Yep.
the water out of our
Yep.
bodies and
Yep.
just
Yep.
trying to get big, trying to
Mm-hmm.
go out there and play for the white man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Body of God Health, we changing that whole dynamic because, you know, what's the sense of having wealth, or what's the sense of having all this knowledge if you gonna have a heart attack in 5 years? You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
So that's important. So Body of God Health. What else? What other page do I have? My newest page, The Amazing Facts About the Negro,
Yeah.
which is going to be the spinoff of my book, which is the 500 Amazing Facts About the Negro, Volume 1, which you can get on Amazon now. You can get on my website, voltaapparel.com. Volume 2 comes out in August.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, we're going to be hitting people upside the head. I've
Yeah.
been working
Yeah.
overtime, trying to give people the knowledge, wisdom, and information.
Mm.
Let me see. Anything else that I want to leave? I think that's
American
pretty much
Maroon
it.
too. Might as well tap in
American
with that.
American Maroon,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
American Maroon, which is actually for the longest time it was the #1
Yes.
documentary on
Yes,
Amazon,
sir.
which
Yes,
is
sir.
incredible.
Yes.
And you know, I always give my praises to Big Bro. Shout out to Brother
Mhm.
Tariq Nasheed. Shout
Yeah.
out to the elders who
Mhm.
actually laced me with that game.
Mhm.
Even Baba Kaba, Brother Tariq got me in it because Baba Kaba
Come on.
gave me the alley-oop.
Come on.
You know, he gave my name to
Yes,
Brother
sir.
Tariq. So I gotta shout out to one of my master teachers, one of my mentors, you know, Baba Kaba,
Mhm.
Professor James
Yeah.
Smalls. I mean, I'm in there with Phil Valentine. I
Yeah,
mean, this
come
is
on.
crazy. You
Come
know,
on.
I didn't realize I was the youngest person in the film.
Mm.
One of the youngest people who'd ever be in Tariq's film. You
Listen.
know, so man, it's a true honor, man, blessing, and you know, we just gotta stay consistent though.
Yes.
This is just the beginning.
It is,
just the
bro.
beginning. So yeah, definitely get American Maroon on Amazon. You can also get that from my website as well. So.
Yes, sir. Bro,
Yes,
again,
indeed.
keep killing it with the book. Much success, man. Congrats. Documentaries, future projects, health, wellness, nutrition, all of that. Y'all tap in. Brother Chase, living legend, bro. Again, man, 30 years from now, 40 years from now. Again, names of Baba Kaba, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, all of those great minds, Dr. Tony Browder, Ashwar Kwesi. I'm telling you, Brother Chase, you're already right there with him, bro. So stay on your journey, bro. Stay consistent. Anything that you will ever need from us, I'm always here, bro. And I got you. But y'all tap in. Make sure to follow, like, comment, and subscribe. Purchase the books, the content, whole nine, and follow at Voice of the Ancestors as well, bro. Blessed be your host, Caleb Smith. Until next time. Peace.